what's it called? Barack Obama's Rules for Revolution.
Right.
That is as succinct an explanation. Well, I think it's red. I hope it's red. Yeah, we got a hotter cover. Same thing. It's the most succinct version of the mind of the left, explaining how they think.
Right. This is the one for Democrats.
And
Look,
they're basically nihilists. They're anti, is what they are. Don't take too seriously anything that they propose in a positive way. The stimulus package was what? It was to fund the public sector unions, which is the Communist Party of the Democratic Party. That's all it was. It was to fund the public sector unions. And that's what the health care is. It's to get control and to put more power into the hands of the people who want to change the world. It's all about power. It's not about, a particular this reform or that reform.
what we're going to do now is we were going to have written questions, but that didn't happen, so we're going to have Gretchen is going to be walking around, and I'll just ask you to raise your hand. I'll recognize you. Now, I told you not to be nice and not to be rational. I'm going to regret that. Right? We have our first question right here. Thank you. Give me a name if you like. What office you're running for.
Repeat.
Turn it off. Not working?
Forgot to charge the batteries.
Repeat the question.
Repeat it.
You need an engineer.
I can hear you, so go ahead.
My name is Dan, and I'm actually a physician. I'm not running for any office, thank goodness. But my question is for Mr. Horowitz. You talked about the Democratic Party as the religious movement, you talked about the saints. What about the leaders? Do you think they are saints also, or do you actually think this is more like Animal Farm, that they want everybody else to be at a certain level, and they want to adopt?
Yeah, I don't think I finished that. The left, not the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is very, very, very far gone. But the left thinks of itself as the army of the saints, and it thinks of you as the party of Satan. And you have to, that's why they're so nasty. That's why they're rude and they're always interrupting. But basically, they look at you as evil. I kind of made the point, but I left out the point.
No, we'd like you to reiterate that one.
So the leaders, well, it depends on which ones that you're talking about. I think that Joe Biden is a bumbling idiot, and I don't see him. He just goes along with whatever there is. Soros. Well, I've written a book about Soros called The Shadow Party. And Soros is typical as a speculator. He's made a lot of money off a lot of people's misery, driving down taking down the pound and things like that. And if you understand what the left gives to people like that is a moral cachet. When I lost interest in the Academy Awards in this town about 25 years ago when Gandhi won over E.T. And I'm serious. And the reason that Gandhi won is because Gandhi is everything that Hollywood wants to be: thin, moral, and tan. But it's the easy morality. When Teddy Kennedy killed that woman, he immediately became a leftist. And the Kennedys, John Kennedy was a well to the right of center, a Democrat. He was a militant anti-communist. He was for a balanced budget. He was for a capital gains tax cut. And he was a hawk. He had the largest military buildup in peacetime history. Teddy, right after Chappaquiddick, gave a speech attacking the Vietnam War. And that's because that's the way he got his moral creds. And they all do it. They, you know, it's the first thing. You get a criminal, and if he's black, you know, I'm a victim of racism. It's the easy card they go to, and sometimes Republican Party chairs do the same thing. It's just terrible.
I believe we have a gentleman here.
Yes. Do you think that Israel can be restrained by the lack of confidence by the Obama, or do you think that eventually or ultimately Israel will attack Iran?
Well, I think it's a horrific dilemma for any Israeli prime minister, because Israel cannot survive by itself. I mean, I don't know if it's capable of taking out the Iranian nuclear facilities. Even if it were, what's Iran's response? It might be terrorist attacks all over the world. And what would that mean for the Jews in Israel? I mean, it's just a terrible, terrible dilemma. And that puts the onus even more on this guy in the White House. Israel needs the U.S. as a shield. I know people think that, you know, the Israelis can do anything, but I don't think they can.
Yes, sir, right over here. And we'll get to this lady in the back. Second. Yeah, you. Yeah, you.
Yes, my name is Joseph Dyer. I'm a former Marine. I stood up a few years ago to... I stood up a few years ago to take an oath to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemy, foreign and domestic. My question is, Sharia law has already taken hold in Dearborn, Michigan. How long will it take before it takes over the entire United States?
Well, we have, and it's a good question. I'm not a crystal ball gazer, and everything depends on whether people will stand up and fight it. But we have a terrorist jihad, but the really sinister and dangerous one is the stealth jihad. That is the subordination of Western culture, Western laws, Western constitutions to Muslim culture, Muslim law, which is Sharia, which is well advanced in England. A person, a Dutch politician named Geert Wilders, whom we have brought to the United States and brought to American campuses and hosted many times, is now on trial in the Netherlands for producing a 15-minute film which has quotes from the Quran, blood-curdling quotes, and quotes from terrorist leaders quoting the Quran. And that's basically what it is. And he's basically on trial for blasphemy against Islam. With Barack Obama's support, the Muslim states that run the UN got a resolution passed against defaming religions. The most fundamental right that we have as Americans is the right to blaspheme. This is historically the case. I mean, our country was founded, although you would never know it if you went to school these days, by religious people who were fleeing persecution by other religious people. So that religious freedom, the freedom to criticize other religions and to disagree with them, is the foundation of our democracy. Geert Wilders is now on trial over that. It's coming here. It will be tried here. We are in a war with Islam, basically. Radical Islamists, if you like, Islamo-fascists, if you like. But you can't use the word Islam in relation to this war if you're a member of our government. Our government, I forget what they call it, but they don't call it anything remotely. Yeah, something like that.
Overseas contingency actions, I think. Yes, this lady right here? Yes.
My name is Evelyn Hodak, and I am a great-grandparent of 9 little kids, and I'm worried about them. I'm wondering, with the challenge that parents have today, when you can't send your kid to college and have them come out and be a conservative, 95% of the professors are so liberal that no matter how you brought your kids up at home, they end up spouting liberal rubbish at you when they come home.
Communist.
I'm lucky. I have 3 kids that I brought through. They're great. But I've seen it with my grandkids. It's worrisome.
Yeah. I've written 4 books about universities. The last one was called One Party Classroom. Yeah, the liberal arts colleges today are indoctrination centers for what I call the neo-communist left. And I call them that, you could call them communist, because their analysis, when they talk about America, it's no different from the way my parents and their friends talked. Evil corporations, they've had racist and sexist and homophobic to the indictment, but it's the same. No different. That's the curriculum. And, you know, UC Santa Barbara or Santa Barbara City College or whatever. It's really sad.
The gentleman over there?
Thank you. I heard a report of the Battleground poll, which is, I understand, one of the most reliable. That one question was how you identify yourself, and I believe the number was 78 to 79% of the people asked identified themselves as conservative. I was shocked that it was that high, but I know we do have a large number of people who are conservative, who pay their bills, who you know, live according to the rules. The other side is scared to death of us because we outnumber them. But what they have is they have the media, ABC, NBC, CBS, every major newspaper, every local newspaper here, with the exception of the Montesino Journal, which is a wonderful little paper. But ultimately, what it amounts to is that we outnumber them. And every person here needs to understand that it's up to you. That's the way this country was founded as. It was by individuals. And individual responsibility, it's up to you. Inform the heck out of yourself. Talk to your neighbors. Put signs on your car, do whatever is necessary. But we've got to win this. We will either win it or we will lose it. And it will be in the next couple of years. Because we are now, I think, in the last year, something like, what is it, $7 trillion in the deficit? $1 trillion is much too much. I won't go on, but I just want to encourage everybody, get to work.
Right.
It's important. We're either going to win it or we're going to lose it now.
There's a lot of truth in what you say. We need an organized force as well. In the little pamphlet, the Tea Party pamphlet, I point out something that people have forgotten, that in the revolt against Obamaism began in this state in May, in that special election. There were 5 initiatives to raise taxes and 1 counter-initiative to punish politicians who didn't balance the budget. The 5 raise your taxes initiatives failed by 60